I know we're going to get started in just a couple minutes, but do you want a drink or anything before we get started?
No, thank you. I brought my own.
All right, guys, and welcome to Becoming a Better You podcast. Today we have a special guest, a man who calls himself the Oracle. Is that your real name?
Yes.
Can you spell that?
Oracle is spelled O-R. Echo. In the future, we don't spell words completely out.
Is that due to like texting?
100% due to texting.
So you say you're from the future.
Correct.
What year?
2022.
That's the year we're in right now.
That is correct.
I don't understand.
I'm from December of 2022.
So 2 months ahead of where I am right now.
Exactly.
Okay, so then can you just tell me why you came back 2 months? What's the purpose?
I came back 2 months to give enlightenment, knowledge, and happiness.
So, do you know the best definition of enlightenment? To lighten up.
To lighten up. That's good.
Thank you. So, let's get right into it then. What would you say is the purpose of life?
The purpose of life is to be happy and to spread love, which I heard you are very good at.
I'm not going to deny that. So, if we talk about having a happy life, how do we create that?
A happy life is different for everyone. You have a saying on earth, different strokes for different folks.
I've heard it. So basically what you're saying is then that like everybody wants something different. And it's just up to them to kind of like follow their passion and then create those moments of happiness. And if you're saying that, would you say that a happy life is just a culmination of happy moments?
Correct.
Right, because there's not always going to be times where life is perfect. I don't think it's supposed to be. Do you?
I don't.
Have you ever seen the meme where it's a dog and he's holding a cup of coffee and there's flames all around him and it's like, this is fine, everything's fine. Have you seen that?
Meme? Where I come from, we don't need memes.
So let me expand upon that.
Of course.
How do we stay happy when everything around us is in flames?
To answer that question, I will give you 3 things. Meditate, write down your intentions, and use positive affirmations. Think, I am, and you instantly are.
Okay, so if I said I'm the Louis Vuitton of men, then I am?
Yes. Then you instantly are, but you have to believe it and start acting like it. The universe will match your vibration, but it won't be instantaneous.
So if I'm getting this straight, so we want, if things around us are going kind of all array, is that a word in the future?
It is not.
Okay, it means like, not bad, but like all over the place. And this is how I dance. So what you're saying is if I meditate to clear my mind, if I write down my intentions, so like, I want to be happy, I want to be healthy, and then if I continue to say to myself, I am this, then those are the things that can keep me level and actually get me to the life I want. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So basically what you're saying is that your thoughts and what you think become your reality.
Correct.
So when I think of thought, why isn't it an instant manifestation, right? So right here, right now, I'm like, I want $1 million. And like the $1 million just doesn't come here and I get to use it and play with it. So why if thoughts become your reality, why isn't it instantly in front of me?
Anvil.
No, I said money. I don't know.
Roadrunner.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Marcus.
That's not my name.
Marcus.
Go ahead.
If thoughts instantly manifested and you thought about an anvil dropping on your head, it would instantly happen. And you would wish that there was a buffer of time. Lucky for you, there is.
Okay, that makes sense, right? So I guess that wouldn't be good because right now I'd get hit with an anvil because I just thought about it.
Correct.
So in that buffer of time, does the universe give us that so we can reinforce the intention and then maybe even change it if we need to?
Correct.
So in that case, it's really beneficial for us that things don't happen instantly, but that, are you saying that like if we focus on it and continuously adding thought into like the pot, it grows? Kind of like, it's like you plant a seed and you don't instantly see the tree. You plant the seed and then eventually the tree grows.
Exactly.
Is that the same dating advice you used back in the day?
To plant a seed and immediately the seed will grow into a plant or tree?
No. More as like you say hi to a honey in the future, come back 6 months later, and then you start dating.
That's not how relationships work in the future, or I believe in your October of 2022.
Do you think this is why I'm single?
This could be why you are single.
Okay. We'll have to talk off camera. So then getting back to creating your reality, is everything vibration?
Yes. Like attracts like.
So can you explain that a little bit more?
Yes. You can only bring into your life what you have been asking for. You can be deliberate and intended, which I recommend, or you can go through life and allow things to come to you like a passenger. It is your choice.
So basically, this is going back to what you said earlier as far as being intentional in what you want. And I preach that with my students, my clients, like my friends, where you're writing down what you want, you're being intentional in setting forth that positive momentum. Would that be correct?
That is correct.
Do you think that most people then just kind of go through life like, just take it as it comes, like not setting those intentions?
I think many people do that, unfortunately.
And so the advice to them would be, stop being just a passenger in your life, but be the driver.
Take control of your life.
Because there's always a choice.
Always.
Start the engine. Okay, it's making sense. So let's say we're having one of these days. And I think for me, one of the reasons why I work out is to clear my mind and get myself on that positive road in the beginning of the day, right? I read a quote. You have quotes in the future?
Yes, we do.
And it says like one positive thought in the morning can change your whole day, right? So really, really writing those affirmations, those intentions at the beginning of the day when you wake up and you have a good day. So let's just say I didn't do that. I wake up on the wrong side of the bed, so to speak. I have all these negative thoughts. I'm not good enough. I'm not the Louis Vuitton of men.
Mm.
I'm more of like a Kmart handbag.
Mm.
Do you still have Kmarts in the future?
We do. They are a very popular pizzeria and used motor oil chain across the nation.
Interesting. So getting back to my question, I get these thoughts, I'm not good enough, right? This negative self-doubt, this negative self-talk, which I think everybody has. Do they have that in the future?
Of course.
How do I get out of that state?
Let me make this easy for you to understand. You have a thought. You continue to think that thought constantly. Over time, the universe brings you things that are in alignment and reinforce your thought. That thought then becomes a belief. A belief is just a thought we keep thinking.
So basically, if I wanted to change a belief, I just have to change the thought I keep thinking to myself.
Exactly. Think about it. There are beliefs you had as a child that you don't have now because you started to think in a new way and you form new beliefs.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around this. So as I'm going through, did you just litter on my podcast?
Litter?
It means like you didn't put it in the right bin.
I believe I did put it in the right bin.
Me too. So I have a thought. What happens when we have that negative thought that pops right in? What should I do then? Should I just ignore it? Let it go?
A negative thought?
Yes. Point made. A thought is just a thought. I give it meaning.
Correct.
I have this thought that I don't prefer. I feel that if I keep pushing into that thought, like I can't believe I had that thought, that I just make that thought bigger, right? It's like you're just making it bigger versus let it go. We have, I don't know if you have, there's a popular song, Let It Go. It was by a character wearing a blue dress.
Ah, yes. Frozen.
Exactly.
It's still popular in December of 2022.
On streaming services only?
Yes.
It went in the vault.
Yes, in the vault.
So I just want to let that thought go and focus on the thought that I prefer. Is that a good synopsis of what should be happening here?
It is. You want to concentrate on the positive and let go of the negative.
Okay. And would you say that's advice for anybody can do that?
Of course.
So there's really no excuse then, if you really understand this from what you're saying from the future, that everybody has the power to change.
Correct.
It's just maybe they lack the knowledge of how things actually work.
Exactly.
Which is why you came back to spread this knowledge.
I am here for that reason.
So is everything perspective?
Yes. Everything is perspective.
So can you explain a little more?
Yes. I have a perfect example of a story of a ship passing in the night. In the distance, the ship sees a light. It calls out through radio, "This is a U.S. naval vessel. Please divert your course 0.5 degrees south to avoid a collision." The radio transmission back says, "Negative. You divert your course 15 degrees south to avoid a collision." Well, now the U.S. commander of this naval ship becomes angry. He then says, "This is a U.S. naval ship. You divert your course." The response is, "No, I recommend you divert your course." Now the commander of this naval ship says, "This is the USS Coral. I'm a naval commander of a warship. I command you to divert your course to avoid a collision." The response back was, "This is a lighthouse. Your choice."
And so what happened when he found out it was a lighthouse? What happened to his anger?
Dissipated. No more anger because now he knows. His perspective has changed. He knows what it is now.
And so can you relate, maybe we can relate that to something in my timeline, is with driving, right? Do you have flying cars in the future?
We do. They are a game changer.
So 2 months in the future, you have flying cars?
That's all we have is flying cars.
Okay.
And those scooters you see everywhere lying on the sidewalk, those are still very popular.
So you have scooters and flying cars?
Correct.
Okay. So for us, we still have to drive on the road. And now a lot of people, if you get cut off, like you get road rage, stuff like that. Anger breeds more anger.
Correct.
So if we, again, just kind of change our perspective and you'd be like, you know what? I don't know what that person's going through, right? They could be in pain. They could be, a loved one could be injured. They could even need to take a number 2. I think we just need to be more mindful of that and not get angry, right? Because I don't want to cut them off because it puts me in danger.
Correct.
And if something happens to me, like I can't help affect change in the world. I can't be with my family. Like that moment of anger can really change my life. And I don't want that. So it's better to have that perspective of just let it go,
Yes.
right? And focus on what I can control.
Yes. Which is often harder to do than for us to say, but it is exactly what needs to be done. Don't let it affect you.
And so do you think by starting your day off right, setting your intentions, bringing the positivity out in the world, then when that happens at 11:07 a.m., you're more level?
Correct.
So getting back to, you always have to do stuff to take care of yourself first before you can take care of anybody else.
The better you feel, the less negative things in the world affect you.
Negative?
Or positive.
So is there a time in your life where you were down on your luck and how you overcame that?
As a matter of fact, yes. Back in November, I fell out of my flying car. I injured my shoulder.
And how far up was this?
The car?
Yeah, were you flying?
3 feet at the time.
I would think that it would be a little bit higher for being a flying car.
Oh, it can go higher, up to 18.5 feet.
I thought it'd still be a little higher.
It's not. We can't avoid anything. We have to still drive down streets, dodging houses and buildings.
It sounds pretty dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
Is this why you fell out?
I did fall out. Is that why? No. I fell out because I'm uncoordinated.
I understand. So you fell out, you injured your shoulder.
I did.
What happens to the car when that happens?
It drove off.
Okay.
I've never seen that car again.
But I thought in the future you have like a new car instantly appears.
That's wrong.
Oh.
Also, you've been misinformed.
Often.
I had to grab one of those scooters I talked about earlier.
And how high up do they go?
They just roll on the pavement.
Okay, so you're on the scooter, rolling on the pavement, holding your shoulder.
I am rolling and writhing in pain on my scooter.
And did you find that like the honeys were hollering at you?
No honeys hollered at me.
Okay. Getting back to the story, I digress. What happened? You hurt your shoulder?
I injured my shoulder, and at that point, I had had a surgery and rehabilitation. Throughout the rehabilitation process, I had a choice. I could either become a victim to my pain or accept the pain, accept that my shoulder will no longer be the way it was, and to continue improving upon my strength in the shoulder to get it back to a point where it's functioning and I can still live a very happy life.
So let's go back. What happened with the shoulder?
The shoulder, I had a choice to either make the shoulder as good as it could possibly be, never to be as good as it was, but to accept that it will be as good as it possibly be if I work hard and don't become a victim to the pain and the injury. I will just improve upon what I can do and accept where that leads me.
So at that moment, you had a choice. Like everybody has a choice. You can basically give in, be a victim, be like, I can't do all the stuff I want to do. Or you could be like, I'm going to make the best of the situation. I'm going to rehab it. I'm of the belief that physical therapists are very important, even in the future, if I can foresee that. And really have that mindset that I'm going to overcome this and do the best that I can. Is that correct?
Correct.
Because what happens if you have that victim mentality? Is anything going to get better, or are you just going to perpetuate more of that? I'm injured. I have pain. Because listen, some people get attention for doing that.
Correct.
But it's not the attention you want. Right?
Correct.
Can you expand?
If you remain in the victim mentality, you cannot progress as a person and progress to live a more meaningful life.
You're stuck.
You are stuck.
So I think being from the medical field, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a physical therapist.
I did know that.
So a lot of times when people are diagnosed with a diagnosis, it becomes their identity, right? So I have this or I have that. And in that instant, or in some cases, it defines them, which then limits your potential going forward, because then they're going to be like, I always have this, or I can't do that. I've had people with back pain who don't want to move because like, oh, you got a herniated disc. Well, you still have to move, right? You can't make that your identity, because if that becomes your identity, it limits your whole being.
Correct.
Right? A diagnosis is not your identity. You're more than that. And one of the beautiful things I heard one of my professors say is like, what you're going through is just right now. It's not forever. And so it gives that spark of hope that I can get through this. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about a medical practitioner that knows how to really heal people, is that you're giving hope.
I believe that 100%.
And you going through the futuristic medical community, is it the mindset that really helped you overcome that, as well as your physical therapist?
Of course. I knew it would get better. It just took time and effort.
Kind of like when you plant the seed and you talk to the honey 6 weeks later.
There's a lot of work to be done between the seed planting and the honey chit-chat.
Okay. We got to water it. You got to make it wet. So why do so many people trade security of a job instead of follow their passion and do what they really want to do? Because we only have one life in this body. And if you just do something for security, you're not living to your full potential. Why do you think so many people do that?
I think so many people do this because they listen to everyone else instead of listening to their soul. You have one life to live. They listen to everyone else instead of listening to their soul.
So do you think it's a better way of life to follow your passion and live for yourself, because then everything else will take care of it? And by that, I mean like excitement and passion is a complete kit. If you're on your path, your spirit, your soul will give you feelings of being excited. And that's when you know that's what you should be on, versus waking up every day. Listen, I was there too. It's a Sunday night and we get the dread of going to work in the morning. Now that I'm following my passion, I'm dressing the way I want to dress, I get excited on Sunday to go to work. Do you think people will be a lot happier if they found something they're passionate about and did that? And like maybe, okay, if they're not ready to do it as a job, but after work, or something to keep them creative and creating and helping other people and showing their gifts?
Most definitely. You always need to follow your passions for a better you and for those around you. The better you are, the more you can affect positive change in the people around you.
Because we're all in this together.
Correct.
So the more we can uplift everybody else, the better it actually is for ourselves.
Correct.
So can you talk about how important it is for your health in order to live your best life?
Of course. Think of it this way. You can't pour from an empty cup. Mental and physical go hand in hand. You need to work on both to have a successful life. What you do now to take care of your health affects your health later on in life. If you don't take care of your health, you will spend much more time and much more money in the future to try and fix that.
I find that a lot of times when I'm meeting with patients or clients, I'm like, listen, like you have to invest in your health now. Because if you don't invest in your health now, 20 years from now, when we have diabetes, we have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, when we're even feeling more depressed, the amount of money and time you're going to spend to try to fix all that is going to be astronomical, where if we're just proactive now and not reactive later. Is that kind of what you're saying?
That's exactly it. It will be much more difficult if you let the damage continue to build upon itself when you could be taking care of it currently.
Yeah, it's really about being, I think, insightful where you're at and what's probable in the future. You like that? Because that's where you're from.
That is good.
So, like, okay, cool. right now I'm fine. I just might be 85 pounds overweight. But if I continue to, on my body, have an extra 85 pounds, what's probably going to happen? Diabetes, high blood pressure, knee problems, back pain. My confidence is shot because I've been 85 pounds over for 10 years. Right? I'm not wearing like tight Italian shirts anymore, right? And say goodbye to crop tops forever. So, but if once I put on that 5 pounds, 6 pounds, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This is not me. Let's fix this now. It's also easier to fix, right? Being proactive. Can you speak to like proactive versus reactive and how much important it is to be proactive in your life?
Of course. To be proactive means to fix your current state as it is currently.
Before it becomes too late.
Exactly.
And I don't want to say too late. I don't want to sound pessimistic, but like before it becomes harder, more challenging to fix.
It is much easier to fix at the beginning. Like you gave the example, if you were 6 to 8 pounds overweight, you recognize that. You know it's a path you don't want to continue down, and you change your path. You make a choice.
Because I don't think I could be the Louis Vuitton of men being 8 pounds heavier than I am now.
You might still be able to pull it off.
You're right. You know what? I see that negative self-talk. I got to go back to my positive affirmations book, but I know I wouldn't be as confident.
Correct.
Yeah. So then talking about that, can you talk about relationships? So I believe that the beauty of life is that we came down here. We're just spiritual beings having a physical experience. And we just came here to mingle with other people, have these interactions, co-create, dress the way we want to dress, plant the seeds we want to plant, wear the glasses we want to wear. Can you speak about relationships and what your insight to that? Now, any relationship, it could be like family, it could be friends, it could be intimate relationships. What's your take on that from the future in 2022?
I believe that everyone comes into your life for a reason. They come into it for a reason and they leave for a reason. You want to surround yourself with positive people.
And do you think that you talked about like attracts like?
Correct.
So the vibe you're putting out, the vibrations you're putting out, do you believe they'll attract the people that you need in your experience to grow how you want to grow?
Yes. And I believe that's very important to your growth as a human being.
Do you believe that in order to grow the way you want to grow, that people have to leave when they're not on your vibration?
Unfortunately, I do believe that. Either limit your exposure to those people or you have to leave them altogether.
And in some instances, don't you think it's better for both parties?
Of course.
I consider it like this. So you can have an employee that's working for you and you're like, I don't want to fire the Oracle. I'm going to use that as an example. Don't take offense to this. And I'm like, he's just not working out, right? He's always late. He's always falling out of his flying car. He's always trying to, water the seeds. And it's like, it's not working out. But I'm like, I know I like the Oracle. Like I know he has 17 children. He has 4.5 wives. I don't want to fire him because then he can't support them, right? So I'm doing like that. But it's not a job you're excelling in. Versus being like, hey, like this isn't the job for him. It's just too much. It's too much of a challenge for him to get here from the future every day. So let him go, so he can be on his path and find a better job for him because something else is out there. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
So sometimes I feel like you have to let people go in order for both of you to reach your best potential, because you might have come together at a certain point, but as you grow, sometimes you grow apart.
Correct.
And if you try to still intermingle, it's not a fit anymore. But that doesn't mean you won't fit anywhere else. And like, I'm personable, so I fit with everybody, So what do you think about that? Is that a true statement?
I agree. If you don't let them go, they can't grow. You can't grow. You're stuck.
You're stuck. So I think one of the biggest things I wanted to ask you is I feel that as humans, are you still considered a human?
I am.
We all want the same thing, right? We want to be fed. We want to be happy. We want to be loved. We want to be healthy. And I feel like if we just all took a step back and be like, wherever you're from, you're brown, you're white, you're purple, you're wearing multicolored glasses, we all just want the same thing. If we realize that as a community, then we wouldn't be fighting each other because we understand what we all want. But at the same token, I feel like we're too focused on lack. So it's a piece of the pie, but if I have a piece of the pie, you're jealous because you feel like you can't get this piece of pie, right? What do you think how should we approach this, right? Just because you have something, you have a magic 8-ball. I'm not jealous of that. I can go buy another one on Amazon. That's a retailer that we have. Haberdashery too. So what would be your advice to just the community of humans on this version of Earth?
As on this version, it has not changed in the future. Everyone should be free to do as they please as long as they are not hurting anyone else. Life is like a buffet. You just take what you want, and you don't yell at the manager because he put dumplings on the serving station, and you don't like dumplings.
I actually do really like dumplings.
This is noted.
So basically you're saying life for everybody is different, even though we have the same basic needs. But I shouldn't yell at you because I don't like what you're doing. As long as you're not hurting anybody, go have fun. Do your thing. I'm not going to protest against that because that has nothing to do with me. Versus I could be a better human. I could have a better experience if I'm like, okay, cool. The Oracle likes to go to the haberdashery and try on all crop tops. That's fine. You do you. It's not hurting me. Instead of being like, no more crop tops. This is my sign. Don't just get mad because there's other options people can pick. Let them live their life. You live your life.
Correct.
So what are some lessons that a futuristic person wants to share with the world?
In order to give you a lesson from the future, I will have to go back to your past. A wise man once said, treat others how you want to be treated. If you follow that advice, you will live the life you want.
Do you think it's that simple?
At its core, it is 100% that simple.
So just treat everybody how you want to be treated, like our moms and dads have always said.
It's that simple.
So why do you think so many people don't listen to that?
I think it can be difficult at times for people to take that advice because, once again, maybe there are influences going on in their life that cause them to have
biases.
Correct. Where they can't, if you feel good, it's much easier to do good.
Yeah. I think that also goes back to the fact that in the beginning of the day, if you can do stuff to make yourself level, to make yourself happy, then it's almost like a shield you have on you. You have like a positivity shield, right? Where things bounce off you. But if you start your day or you're not living your passion or you're not doing things to make yourself a better person, it sticks, right? And you never want anything to really stick on you, especially your face. So this is kind of a selfish question, but what can you tell me about my future?
One moment, please. Your future is so bright that it burns my eyes, which is why I'm wearing these glasses.
Can you tell me anything else about it?
I can't.
Okay. So there's people watching this right now. We usually get over 999,000 viewers per episode. They want to change their life. They just don't know how to change their life. What is some advice you can give them, being from the future, December 2022, that they can implement, that they can do to change their life? Can you just kind of look at the camera and just kind of let them know?
The fact that you are thinking that you have to change your life is a step in the right direction. Take that step. Small positive steps and be the change that you want.
And so is it really about just taking steps each day to become a better version of yourself?
Yes, small positive steps, consistency.
So my last question is, you are from the future.
Correct.
In the future, can you tell me who the president is?
Unfortunately, I cannot tell you this, for I fear it would rip a hole in the time-space continuum. What I can tell you is, it's a pug.
So Oracle, I want to thank you for coming on the podcast, kind of dripping your knowledge all over me. It's been a pleasure. If you're ever back in this timeline again, we should do this, but I just really want to thank you for coming on and talking with me.
It has been my passion and my pleasure.
Hey guys, Dr. Mark here. Now I know a lot of you want to know how we get all these amazing results with our clients, and it comes down to three things. The first is fun fitness classes that burn a lot of calories. 2 is giving you an accountability coach to make sure you stay on track and get the best results. And 3 is the nutrition. Included in the nutrition is our food supplements. So we pair with Prestige Labs because I feel they're the best, they have integrity, and they get great results. These are actually the supplements that I take as well. Here's the awesome part. By clicking the link below, you can save 40% off the retail price. So you need that link to actually save 40%. If you just go to the normal site without my link, you're paying full price. Okay? So these are the supplements my clients use. If you are interested, definitely click the link below and it'll tell you all about them.